good. You've joined me for fairy tale time for once upon a whoops. Let's see, now I know there's some stories here. Ah, yes. This one's called To Build a Tower. They had barely cleaned their plates when there was a knock on the door. The eldest pig patted her snout with a napkin and got up to answer it. She carefully removed the chain lock and swung open the heavy door. An old woman with a shock of grey hair stood on the front mat, looking at them excitedly. "Are you the three little pigs?" she tittered. The pig at the door glanced back at her brothers. "Yes," she said. The woman bounced a bit on the spot. "I hope you don't mind, but I've just heard down in the village that the three of you have managed to defeat that horrible wolf. Is it true?" The pigs glanced at their empty plates and the pile of polished wolf bones on the table. "Well, yes, it is," the pig answered humbly. "Turns out all you need is a hot pot of water and a sturdy house." "Who would have thought? Splendid! And you built it yourself?" The pig tried not to beam. "Yes, all myself." Her brothers looked down into their laps. "What wonderful craftsmanship," the woman said, peering up at the rafters in approval. "You're just the pig I'm looking for, in fact. I was wondering, can you build me a tower?" "A tower?" the pig said, incredulous. "Yes, I've always wanted a lovely high tower of my own. You know, it's such a mad world these days, what with people being turned into frogs or having giants come down from the sky into their backyards. I'm getting too old for it." She sighed. "It's just nice to be able to get away from it all for a bit. You know, watch the sunset from a nice window in peace." The pigs nodded sympathetically. No one knew more recently than them how important a peaceful home was. "We'd love to help," the eldest pig agreed. The old woman grasped the pig's trotter in gratitude. "Oh, thank you. I knew when I heard about your house being able to withstand the wolf that you'd be able to, and that you have the humble hearts to help. Now, how would you like to be paid? An enchanted mirror? A personal footman, perhaps? Maybe a golden goose?" The pig turned to her brothers. They were all at a loss. "We'd like food," she offered. "Perfect. I have a whole garden of food. Cabbage, rampion, beans, you name it. I'll give you a lifetime supply of your daily greens." All three pigs' eyes lit up. "Wonderful. It's settled." The old woman reached into her cloak to summon up the contract. Hang on," the middle pig said, hurriedly getting up from the table. "We're talking about manual labour here. For a whole brick-built tower. How tall is this thing going to be? I mean, I don't call something a tower unless it's at least 3, 4, 6 stories high. That's a lot of work." He crossed his trotters in front of him. "I don't think food is going to cover it." Everyone looked at him expectantly. The woman's smile faltered. "What do you have in mind?" "Well," he continued, "I'm soon to be starting a business in wiggery, and not just pig wiggery." He paused to give a chuckle. "I've always been complimented on how I style the fast-growing hairs on my chinny chin. The old woman glanced at the single 3 hairs as he gave them a quick stroke. "But, as you can see, I only have 3 myself. I'll need a plentiful supply of luscious locks for the wigs," he said decisively. The woman stood frozen. Her hand hovered at the entrance of her billowy sleeve cloak. "A constant supply of luscious hair?" "Yes, as well as the food." She gulped down the urge to add, "Now where am I going to get that?" and simply smiled nervously. Her tower sanctuary was fast rising out of reach. But she was a resourceful woman. She would find a way. Very well. And she was just about to pull the contract out again when the littlest pig piped up. "Can you freeze time?" He hurried over to his gathered siblings at the door. "I mean, stop the world for a bit, while I catch up with writing my novel." The woman stared at him. Even both older pigs rolled their eyes. Or even just put everyone else to sleep while I finish it. It shouldn't take long. Maybe a year or... He looked around at his sister and brother and, seeming to gain confidence, continued, "A year will do. And then we'll build this tower for you." The old woman was still for a moment. "Well," she said, slowly, "stopping time won't help with finishing your novel because time is not your problem. What you really need is inspiration. And I have just the thing for you. 1,001 nights worth." She reached deep within her cloak, revealed a gilded tome, and placed it into the littlest pig's accepting arms. The middle pig watched in disapproval. "We appreciate the gesture, but I'm sorry," he said dismissively. "I can't be wasting time building towers when I could be working on becoming the big pig in the wig industry. Not unless you can see some way to cut down on that extensive manual force." The old woman looked him over thoughtfully. "I suggest you start with weaving straw into golden toupees before you go about plucking the 3 pristine hairs upon your chin." With some effort, she gave a shake of her arm in the air and conjured a rather ordinary spinning wheel. It sat in front of the middle pig, who was trying to hide his awe. "I insist." She then faced the eldest pig, whose satisfaction with the food she suddenly remembered. Well, that one's all good, she thought, and began to address them all. "And lastly, I'm willing to meet you halfway on the labour. I need the tower to be tall, taller than the ancient trees that surround it. But that's really it. Essentially, a room with a view. Now, to make it achievable amongst all your other plans," she thought hard, "there must be a way. She'd just have to think outside the box. What if we cut out the stairs? It's a tower. There would have been a lot of stairs." The pigs, not expecting this answer, looked at each other for a response. "That should do," the middle pig proffered. "But how are you going to get up there once it's built?" The woman sighed. She was a resourceful woman. "Oh, don't worry. I'll find a way." And that was the story To Build a Tower, which you can find in the anthology Once Upon a Whoops.